today we're going to go through a full back training session to try and build that V-taper back. We actually did some hamstrings to start off with, but no one can see, that's not very exciting. So in terms of what we're starting with today, if you want to get a bigger back, we're going to drop you a lot of tips and hints and tricks. We start with pull down. So why start with pull down? Generally, this is our weakest positions coming through this plane of motion. So we're doing it single arm, thinking about pushing our elbows forwards, driving elbow to the hip, and keeping your upper arm tight to your body, not flaring out. So we start 2 sets of 12, 15. The handles you'll see that we're using are called by Prime. It ergonomically fits around your hand, so you don't have to grip it too hard. So we're gonna start with those, 2 sets 15, and then go into like a T-bar row probably. They've got a really nice adjustable T-bar row here, which I'll show you in the next exercise. Person dependent on what works, right?
Yeah, because then you look at someone who's the exact opposite.
Dorian Yates.
Yeah, and Jordan Peters, and there's certain people who like, it's all, and clearly both work, right? I mean, you look at like a Dorian, and it's all failure, and clearly that's fucking work. There's no question about that. But what's the longevity of training like that? Cause I know
he's fucked.
I would break. I would physically break if everything was utter failure and like a couple of working sets. Somewhere for me, somewhere in the middle. It's enough volume, increasing over time, with some absolute
loading
failure sets in there, yeah. I've definitely done the 2 sets, take everything to failure as an off-season. Did it work? Yeah. Definitely worked. Could I do it into my 40s, into my 50s? I don't know.
Trevor is a smart guy. Wrapping the straps around that makes a big difference.
Cool, yeah. Because they're not the easiest, because it's open, you haven't really, it's not as easy to get, it's always trying to make you do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
As good as it is, I mean, the contraption's amazing, but you've got to...
Basically what we're doing is just wrapping I'm wrapping the strap around there to the inside. I put my hand like that and use my little finger to hold the strap on, and I'm putting through that. That sounds wrong.
It did.
That's why Andy gave me a perverted look.
Hold the strap on.
Andy likes the strap on, apparently.
Who doesn't? That's the audience.
You're not allowed to
comment below. Hashtags.
Why it's good is you can adjust, take it out of dwarf height, but it supports you the whole way through, so you can lay flat on it.
I see, yeah.
But what's even better, you can adjust how far up and down this handle is, right?
Where do you want it, further out? Was that about right, actually, isn't it?
That's probably maybe one down. So it's perfect for me.
Look, elbow angle looks good.
The problem is if it's too low, too high, you're doing that. If it's too low, you're doing like that.
Yeah.
Come on. Yes, 10, easy, come on. 11 more, come on, up. Let's go. Right, now we work. 3 more, ready? Big deep breath, contract. Okay, 2 more, big deep breath, contract. And again, 1 more. All the way, come on, up.
That's it. I don't know why I have such a drop-off set to set. Now my first output out of the gate is so strong, and then it's like, I lose like 20-30% second set straight away.
I don't think it's a negative thing though.
I've always had that. I think sometimes
do you think it's
breathing.
muscular, or do you think it's central nervous system? Or
nervous system, I think.
You think it's more nervous system, like
nervous system or breathing, or like
yeah.
oxygen depletion.
So then that would also come from just systemic stress from not just the gym, but
life,
workload, life.
Which is why I said in the class, I'm so psychosomatically driven.
Yeah.
My brain's on like fucking.
So let's imagine you were a few weeks into a full business is over here, and I've not got to think about it, and central nervous system activations come down. I don't think that drop off would start to minimise, wouldn't it?
My glutes and traps just seem to fucking run everything. I think it's my background, because I was very like, not did powerlifting, but I came very strength-based training background, so I could squat and deadlift a lot.
Thing is though, people like, so if you ended up playing rugby, like
I squat and deadlift.
I'm not exactly a rugby frame, or maybe there's positions that would be, but technically I wouldn't lean towards that. I lean towards, funny enough, basketball or hockey or something. So people naturally go into the thing that just seems the right thing. It's like you don't go against the stream at that point, do you? So when it comes to lats, pull down's obviously what we do first. It's generally your weaker movement, so we get that out of the way. We then do something upper back, so we did T-bar. Then we come back to something lats. Now, it could be a multitude of different things. Generally, something that you can do that you'll find in any gym will be a single arm cable row. There's always going to be some sort of cable row. So what we're tending to do here is stabilise with one leg and pull into this here. So elbow's not coming out, otherwise it starts to go upper back. We're trying to drive elbow down towards like a jacket pocket, while at the same time thinking about keeping scapula down, letting it roll forward. This is part of the beginning of the movement. So we're sort of trying to drive down and back to contract lat as we then pull through. Now, what I like to see a lot of people do is this. Like somewhere along the line, people have got this sort of idea of twisting. Personally, I don't bother. I keep my hand in one place, out, in. Really, not saying there's no benefit from doing this, but I don't think there's a lot. And if you're going to twang something and hurt something while you're moving, it's going to be while you're deloading the movement and twisting the arm. I don't think there's a lot of benefit in that, personally. I'm going to keep my hand here, shoulder down, retract back, pull into here. And then we're trying to, at the same time, lean in, because then the next natural thing to do is this, right? Because the body's like, well, why are we making this difficult? Why not just lean into it to pull the thing back? So our goal is trying to lean in, which of course makes it a lot more difficult. But when you get to this point, leant in, that's a fully contracted lat. It doesn't get any more contracted. So then it's a case of just using the negative out and keeping that movement. Works great. And then of course, everybody can find this piece of equipment. We find it a lot better, because really you can only fully contract a lat one side at a time, because there has to be a little bit of this to really fully contract lat. Well, you can't do that both sides at the same time. Is this then not worth doing? No, definitely worth doing. Just a little bit more optimal doing it here.
Internally rotate. There you go, that way. Oh. Nice, strong, push hands.
Let me explain to you a good reason why not to do this movement. So, as we contract a muscle, it gets shorter, it protects itself, so it gets weaker. So if you think about it, we can only contract a muscle so far. Its internal protection system is to get weaker. So as Charlie's rear delt gets weaker as it contracts, the dumbbell's getting further away from him. So it's technically getting heavier. So we've got a strength curve and resistance profile now working in opposition to each other, which is a bit fucking stupid. Because what happens is we end up choosing a weight that we can do from here to here, but then this bit, we're doing this to get up there. So it's technically this is not something I would program for a client, because I know that what they're going to do is this kind of movement, because they want to get to here, which is where we need to get to. But this is called a moment arm. The further away the weight is from the axis, like here, doesn't feel very heavy. Here, feels as heavy as the world. But it's also when my rear delt has become the weakest. So logically, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're doing it anyway, because we wanted to do something different. But I couldn't say I'd recommend it.
I would just say it's a different skill to learn, because I think free weight's more of a skill, right? It's less output, more skill-based techniques. I think it's more like pulling your shoulder blades out of it. If you think like internally rotate, push your hands away, use a lot less weight than you want, and you'll get more out of it. And it was making you like pull your trap. So when I say to you like
the
protract
cue
your
pushing
shoulder,
forward helps, yeah.
Because
by the time I've come back, I'm here.
So like if your shoulder's protracted, lengthened, I physically can't pull. The only thing I can do there is rear delt, right?
But also by the time you've finished, they've come together, so the cue to lengthen back out is really useful.
So the problem I now have is if I put this down, my arms are so fucking long, I hit the floor, I think. Oh, that might be right. Just.
2, good. 3. Partials, partials. Open up, partials. 2 more. Out. 1, release. Nice.
See, I feel like I get a lot out of that still. So the active range of a rear delt's quite small anyway. It's like that.
Also, you know if you kind of go that way a little bit, it seems to have, obviously this just gets a bit more mid trap maybe.